Hi, welcome to Practical Transformations. I'm Catherine Chase, and I'm going to talk today a little bit about habits. So I'm writing a blog about habits, and sometimes, or my idea is to do some of these videos as companion pieces, because I also am developing worksheets around how to clear these things. And sometimes talking about it makes it a little deeper for me anyway. It's easier to really get to some of the finer points that I'm seeing as I'm contemplating these things. So I have had the experience of breaking a lot of habits, and it was sort of a surprise to me. The habit that I broke was overeating, and I had spent many years very overweight, and I lost about 200 pounds and have kept it off for about 5 years. And when I was coming back into teaching, I actually thought maybe I would coach around that, and then I realized that when I looked at exactly what would I share about breaking that habit and changing my life, what I was really going to talk about was everything on the inside that went to why that habit was created in the first place. And that goes back to emotions and belief systems. So I realized, okay, I'm actually talking about going back into teaching. And so here I am, and I'm talking about habits, and I'm pretty sure I'll be talking about habits more than once, because we have so many habitual ways of thinking. Our minds go in loops. If you notice, if you're aware around what's happening in the thoughts that you have, that we go into these circles, these loops, and then the emotions get dredged up and we start feeling something, or we're feeling something and the mind comes in and tries to tell you a story about it, and it gets it all riled up, and we feel like they're completely connected together, and they're not. But the habits start really, really early. The little seeds that get planted when we're very young, usually much younger than we are conscious of being alive. So most of us start having conscious memory when we hit about school age. So you think 5, 6, 7 years of experiences are trapped in our subconscious. And that's where all the seeds of all those habits come from. And then we have experiences because it's subconscious. We are projecting that subconscious information that needs to come out, that needs to get drawn out if we're going to transform it and overcome it and learn from those experiences. They have to come out and be manifested into our conscious waking dream. So we end up having experiences in the world that continue to reflect back what that subconscious information is, and then we start to have conscious memory of those experiences that become reinforcers to what those deep-seated beliefs are. But we still haven't really got to what that belief is, and that we have because it's merged with the emotional body in the way that we experience it. We have a thought, we have an experience that brings about something that's a belief, a core belief within us, and it's painful. We feel rejected, we feel it's not fair. Whatever it is that's happening in our lives then supports that dynamic to stay in place, causes us pain. We're trying to avoid the pain as well, and so we develop coping mechanisms. And sometimes those coping mechanisms can look super healthy on the outside, and sometimes they don't. It's where all the vices come from, right? We could be lazy because we're avoiding what we really want in our lives, and we could be lazy because we are just lazy. Or we could be workaholics and trying to avoid something that's really going on inside of us, or we're trying to achieve something because we have an image of what we're supposed to be, and we develop habits as a result of that. So we have emotional habits, we have habits of thinking, and then that gets manifested in habits of how we act on the outside. So it's so much deeper than just what I'm choosing to eat, or whether or not you have too many glasses of wine, or whether or not you over-exercise and hurt your body. The habits that we have to look at that really will undo the behaviors are why we have that habit in the first place. What's that core belief? Because if you notice, we'll start a diet and we give up so quickly, so easily, because all that energy that's on the subconscious level holding us in that particular pattern is much heavier than that new commitment to change that behavior. So we have to go inside and look at, what is it that I believe? Where is that wounding in my mind that's keeping me in this repetitive cycle of something that's hurting myself? If we can then look at that without judgment, without piling on more abuse, but recognize that this is just the inner child's way of coping in a harsh environment, then if we soften it and start to feel everything that inner child, that emotional body needs to feel, and witness whatever the mind is playing in terms of a song, what beliefs become evident to you in that experience, then the habits naturally will change. You start to regain and reclaim that energy, and you can begin to make new choices in a very organic way, naturally. It doesn't take a big Monday morning commitment, because you start to love yourself so much. And as that stress of judgment goes down, the self-love goes up, up, up. And then you start to see it from a different point of view, and it becomes automatic that you would choose the best thing for yourself in any given moment. And then because you continue to make that decision and that choice to do what is the most loving thing for yourself, then you start new habits. I'll give you an example. When I was in the process of losing weight, I didn't do any exercise for like a year. And then I started to naturally feel like I wanted to move my body more. And I thought, oh, okay, let me do that. Let me see, what would I like to do? And so I found hot yoga, and people said, oh no, you're going to hate it. It's so hot. And I went in and I loved it, and it kicked my butt, and I felt fantastic doing it. It was great for me, and I never had to push myself into doing it. And so I found something I really loved, and 5 years later, I'm still doing my hot yoga. And I don't have to push myself to do it, because it's something I enjoy, and I enjoy giving myself something that is so good for me, that causes me to have so much pleasure. So that's it for today on habits, and I'm happy to have shared this with you. Please check out the tools I have on practicaltransformations.com. I have worksheets that will help you identify what that core belief is that's keeping you from making the changes that you need to make for a better life. Thank you.